And Andy Reid is clicking, and people whiffed so poorly on Patrick Mahomes. The freezing cold Twitter account is having a blast pulling up everyone's draft analysis of Patrick Mahomes when they went up to trade for him. The quantity of D's and C's that people gave Kansas City is huge. So my gut says Kansas City
Hey, Bears
somewhere.
fans, how you feel about that? Like the Bears fans could have had Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, but no, they picked Mitch Trubisky, who overthrows to Canada every time he throws.
All right, welcome everyone to Sports Den, the podcast. It's great seeing you guys. We got a great week of sports, either just finished up, a lot of great topics, or upcoming. I mean, arguably the biggest sports weekend, at least in the United States, going through coming up. But we've got Jonathan and Kyle here. Say hi, everybody.
How we doing, guys?
Good. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. So we're going to start off going basketball here. The All-Star game is, we finally got the teams there. We talked about the All-Star starters a little bit last go around, I think. But we've got the full All-Star rosters that have been announced. Do you want to go? Do you have the rosters up and you want to go through them?
I do. So the Eastern Conference starters are Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks, Kemba Walker from the Boston Celtics, Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I hope I pronounced that right, from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Fine.
He's the captain. There's like 11 ways you can pronounce that. And what's bad is I grew up in Nigeria, which is where Giannis is from ethnic origin, and I still can't pronounce that. Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers. The reserves are are both from Miami, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. There's also, I've loved Bam this year. He's been awesome. Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors, Chris Middleton from the Milwaukee Bucks, Domantas Sabonis from the Indiana Pacers, Ben Simmons from the Sixers, and then Jason Tatum from the Celtics. And then the Western Conference.
Let's focus on the East for just a second. Anyone that jumps out there that I can't say that there's a snub or anyone there that doesn't deserve to be there because it's the East. And does any of them, other than three of them, actually deserve to be there?
Okay, so my only thing is, and I think I said this, Ben Simmons barely plays as a guard. He really does play as a forward. Defensively, he plays a lot as a forward. Even offensively, when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, he plays as a forward. I don't like listing him as a guard. I know they list him as a guard, but it is always either Matisse Thybulle or when Josh Richardson's healthy, it's one of them guarding the guards. He plays defense on forwards most of the time. I would prefer for him to be listed as a forward. That would have cost Domantas Sabonis his spot, and we probably would have got Bradley Beal. Yeah. Bradley Beal is averaging career highs in points, career highs in assists, true shooting percentage, and PER. I get that the Wizards haven't been good, but I mean, really,
it is not for lack of effort from Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still Bradley Beal.
It's not, and I would have liked Bradley Beal to be in it. Barring that, Chris and Brian will probably hate this take. Chris Middleton's only playing 28 minutes a night. I get that the Bucks are the second best team, but his numbers are not better than Bradley Beal's, and I think he's listed as a forward too. So
just to play devil's advocate on that, Middleton just dropped 50 when
Yeah,
Giannis was out. So some of that
but
might also
the
be
voting, no, the
how they
voting
run.
was already done by that
I know,
point, though.
but that's for validation of why I think it's okay for Middleton to be in
Yeah,
there. You look at it and you go through. For me, I don't mean to jump on board with what everybody else's complaints are, but the biggest one for me is Chris Paul making it in over Devin Booker.
That's the
You
we'll get to the West. We'll get to
get
the
to that in
West.
the
okay,
West, but
okay. I
one last thing is Zach LaVine could be a Zach LaVine. Again, it's the same thing as Bradley Beal, but Zach LaVine's number wise looks better than Kyle Lowry or Chris Middleton. It's just those guys have really good
so
records.
Good
and
It,
on the Bradley Beal thing, I have pulled up the player ranking because they've changed how they do voting.
Yeah,
Bradley Beal, via the player ranking, was the second highest ranked player in the Eastern Conference by people who play against him constantly. And
yeah.
he
I
didn't
think everyone just
make,
feels bad that he had to play with John Wall for a while, so they always want to vote him for something.
but what
No,
you
Bradley Beal's really good.
yeah, and you know what's coming.
He
That's what's
is.
shocking. When you see and you hear Jonathan mention everything that he's doing, and you know the Wizards playbook is run it through run it through Bradley Beal, that makes it even more impressive. It what he's doing
It's the
is
efficiency
really
that's
good.
way up there. Like
Absolutely.
he's averaging like Ray Allen type efficiency with with near with like Tracy McGrady type volume.
Yeah. And it's not Bradley's fault that they sunk in a supermax to a guy who just tore his Achilles and have no money to replace anybody else.
No.
But that opens up supermax problems for a different debate.
Yeah.
But to the East, you look at this though, and thank goodness they're doing the draft for how the game's going to be run because this, if it was straight conference versus conference,
Oh,
would be a slaughter.
well,
It
and
would
then
be a
what I kind of
slaughter.
what I kind of get at, and we look at the look at it. It's hard for me to claim, and you kind of even hinted at this a little bit, Kyle, when you kind of jumped the gun on us a bit. It who of these players, if we picked an all-star game of the best players currently in the league, Trae Young maybe makes that team. Giannis makes the team.
Yeah.
Kemba might
No.
make the team.
Joel makes it.
Joel would maybe make, and
And
I
then
think Jimmy Butler should make it, and he probably would. But other than that, none of these guys. So when we say, "Oh, this guy would bump out this other guy," and you're like, he bump out for another guy that wouldn't make it. I mean, then we look at the West. Like that's where guys.
Here's the thing: if we're going the best 30 players in the NBA, I'm picking Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal makes my best 30, and I
Okay.
don't understand how he doesn't make the best on the Eastern Conference when we've got guys like Kyle Lowry who's having a down season, Chris Middleton who's only played 28 minutes, and then Jason Tatum, and yes.
There is a way. There is a reason he doesn't make it. But.
All right. Well, we'll go to your tinfoil hat reason then.
Well,
since you're wearing your hat.
we'll come back to it because it's the same tinfoil hat reasons why a lot of other people.
All right. Yeah. Let's go
make
look at the West real quick.
Yeah.
James Harden from the Houston Rockets. I mean, obviously the guy leading the league in scoring is normally going to be a starter most years. Luka Doncic has been phenomenal this year from the Dallas Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers. The Clippers have been great, and he's been the only guy that's actually played a lot of their games. So,
Yeah.
obviously he's going to make that. LeBron James is the captain. Of course, LeBron is LeBron. Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis, and he's on the second best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
Rudy
And it's in
Gobert
Los
making his
Angeles.
and the All-Star games in LA. So, or no, it's in Chicago, isn't it?
Chicago.
No, it's just Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, Los Angeles people make
it.
Yeah.
They make it.
Mhm.
They make all-star games.
You want to borrow the hat?
No, that one's not even a conspiracy theory. Like no, like that one's
yes, that one's confirmed. Yes, we all know.
Okay, Rudy Gobert is making his first All-Star appearance, which feels to me like he just got like a de facto injury replacement for Karl Anthony Towns because Karl Anthony Towns is hurt. But good for him. Happy he made it.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram made it. Feels like he might be in that same boat. Brandon Ingram, Nikola Jokic. I believe this is his first All-Star appearance, isn't it?
Second.
Second. Okay. Good for him. Good for him. I love Jokic. Makes me feel decent about my body type if he can be a pro athlete. Then of course Damian Lillard making. It's weird to me that this is only Dame's like what, fourth?
This is his fifth.
I feel like he should have 8.
Well,
We'll get
welcome-
to we'll
welcome
get
to
to the
Portland.
reason why not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Los Angeles 8, Portland 5.
Yeah.
In the
We'll get
first
to the reason why not.
2
Yeah,
were
we'll get to-
injury replacements. They weren't
Yeah.
even voted in or coaches'
Yeah.
results. They were injury replacements.
Which is stupid because Dame, again, if we're talking about my top 30, Dame's on that list. And then Donovan Mitchell making his first one. That one feels a little iffy. I'm not going to lie because of some people who got left off. Chris Paul feels like a makeup because he missed 3 for injury. He missed 3 in a row for injury. And my much maligned player that plays for my Rockets, Russell Westbrook, makes it, which is ironically, this is only the second time since James Harden has been a Rocket that we have had 2 All-Stars. Because it's the West, and it's harder to make All-Star teams than the West.
Yeah.
And 2, Chris Paul and Dwight Howard have both suffered severely from being hurt early on in the season, then putting up what would be considered All-Star seasons later.
Yeah.
So the biggest questions I think sit there. I mean, one we kind of mentioned before, Donovan Mitchell is a big question there. I love Donovan Mitchell. Like Donovan Mitchell has said some of the coolest stuff ever about my alma mater, the university, and me as a student section here there. So I will always love everything about Donovan Mitchell. Like I will always want good things for Donovan Mitchell, and I think he is fantastic. But yeah, there's some other spots that
Here's my big deal. Devin Booker is putting together when you compare efficiency and production, he's putting together stuff that's only been matched by people like the other 4 names on that list are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Larry Bird, and Oscar Robertson. Like when those are the other 4 names on this, and he gets left off the All-Star team, and your excuse is, oh, well, just Phoenix isn't winning. Maybe he's just a good stats, bad team guy. I'm sorry. Every other guy that put up that was on a top 4 seed. I looked it up. Every other guy was on a top 4 seed when they put up that stuff. And it's not a good stats, bad team. It's a great player, bad team.
And a little bit of it, it's not even. I mean, this is always a weird thing when you got bad teams. They're not getting boat raced. Even when even when Ayton wasn't on the team, it's not like they were dropping. Oh, they're getting beat by. No, they're playing tight games that just kind of don't make it there. I don't have their full, result. I don't have their full point split right in front of me, but they're not getting beat. That's just kind of.
They're not getting hosed like they were last year by any means.
And it's one that actually, I mean, I would like to be able to put on my hat for this one, but I actually don't understand. I really can't understand why all the conspiracies that I can think of would put Booker in this game.
Yeah, so I've got the Suns pulled up right now. Their plus-minus differential is 0.4 per game. They are at 20-27. Their record against the West is the problem. They are 11-22 against the West. And they are 20-27, which means they have a winning record if they're in the Eastern Conference. Given how the NBA does their scheduling, it's once again a problem of them being in the West. And there is something with.
And their second best player was not playing for a huge number of those Western games.
But again, that's kind of his own fault.
It
But-
is. And if there was a year for Booker to start it, it needed to be this year. This
Yeah.
year, you've got 2 guard all-stars who are injured and out. I don't see how when Clay and Steph come back, if they are at 90%, how they're not in the all-star game. The West gets even worse next year when Golden State gets healthy.
Golden
It's
State's
going-
healthy.
and
There's
then
another
and
player
then-
that was injured that could have taken his spot. I mean, Murray from Denver, if he's healthy, he might be taking Mitchell's spot here.
Yeah, but Booker should have. Chris Paul should not.
I'd rather have Ja Morant on this team than Chris Paul. If I'm going to be honest, I'd rather see Ja Morant play.
There we go. But okay, now I can put my hat back on for Chris Paul. I mean, but it does come through, and we'll throw. This was the hat perspective that I had before. Yes, coaches are supposedly the ones who do pick reserves, but I don't know if I really cannot picture that these things being coaches' decisions for most of them, or it may be a coach's decision after the league tells you need to make sure that this guy's in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chris Paul could be very well that guy.
We're all college football fans here.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why when they updated it, they removed the coaches poll because the coaches lag behind everything else because you know what they're doing? They're coaching. They're preparing their guys for their system and their teams, and they only scout the people when they play them. They don't have a long scout list of everybody that's set up in the NBA. They look at who they're playing this game, and then that's it. So your Western Conference guys, if they haven't seen them too much, because sometimes the schedule is just weird and wonky, and you play a lot of guys, a lot of teams early in the season, and you don't play them late in the season. Coaches are a very, very bad choice for anything, for choosing reserves. So your conspiracy tinfoil hat, which is awesome, it's not that far off. Coaches shouldn't be doing this.
No,
Then you
they
get
shouldn't.
who should.
It should be
And that's
media.
the
I think it
question.
should be the media.
Well, no, because the media is the reasons we're getting these problems. We do have to wrap this up a little bit, but media is half the reasons we're getting the problem anyway. But again, I will say that the Booker one doesn't make sense because Booker is a good-looking kid, incredibly marketable. Yes, he plays for Phoenix, but he goes through. I cannot figure out for the life of me how we have two. Again, they're a good team. How do we have 2 members of the Utah Jazz here and not Devin Booker?
Well,
We're
because
talking market.
before the 3-game losing streak, they were second in the West.
Agree.
how-
They're a fantastic
and
team.
Going into the coaches voting about them, they've won 20-something straight.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and we've got to go ahead. We do have to move on to different stuff. So, did you guys know there was a football game this weekend?
Oh, yeah, there's some sort of like what was it
Average
called?
Bowl.
Is it preseason or
No, it is the Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl is here? It's the Super Bowl of Super Bowls. I can't remember where I heard that once growing up, but that one said it's the Super Bowl, the Super Bowls, and you're like, exactly, that's what it is. It's Super Bowl. If you don't watch Super Bowl, I mean, are you communist? Like, what's going on here? Like,
I am so thrilled about this for 2 reasons. Number one reason the Patriots aren't in it. Number one reason I'm excited about it. Number 2 reason, this is going to be the best defense in the league versus the best offense in the league, and it's going to be really fun. Like, I'm excited about it. Richard Sherman trash talks like none other. It's the best. But he's going against guys that will give it right back to him.
yes.
And Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes, man, is lights out fun to watch. Even the defensive lines on these teams are super fun to watch.
Yep.
I forget which Bosa brother. I always mix them up. but
Yeah.
is huge edge threat. And then it doesn't matter where you put Chris Jones. If he's an end or a tackle, that dude's getting sacks.
So I don't know. I'm going to jump. Normally, I don't think a lot of shows do this at the very end of their Super Bowl discussion, but I think we're going to do it here. Who you got?
Boy, for me, this is a tough one because one, I either have to trust Andy Reid in a big moment, or I have to trust Jimmy G. And neither one of those to me is very reassuring. But my gut says that Kansas City gets it. I like them, and I like them a lot. I think Andy Reid has learned a ton. I love the systems. And for as great as that zone blocking is that they run in San Francisco, we just saw what that Chiefs team did to the man beast from Tennessee. So I really, really like what the Chiefs are going to do up front. It's going to force the passing game, and you've got 1.8 options in San Francisco to throw it to. You've got that 0.8 of Emmanuel Sanders and the 1 of Travis or of Kittle. And then from
Deebo Samuels is not bad.
He's not bad. I will give you that. He's not bad. He'd probably have more than 1.8. But given the fact that the Chiefs
Kansas City's got like 11.
They've got 11. And Andy Reid is clicking. And people whiffed so poorly on Patrick Mahomes. The Freezing Cold Twitter account is having a blast pulling up everyone's draft analysis of Patrick Mahomes when they went up to trade for him. The quantity of D's and C's that people gave Kansas City is huge. So my gut says Kansas City.
Hey, Bears
somewhere.
Fans, how you feel about that? Like the Bears fans could have had Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, but no, they picked Mitch Trubisky, who overthrows to Canada every time he throws.
Yeah. I'm not a Bears fan.
Sorry.
For Chicago.
But yeah,
Chicago.
Yeah. Who do you got, Jonathan?
I've gone back and forth with this, but I'm just gonna go with what my gut was from the very beginning of the playoffs. I said San Francisco would win. I've waffled on who was going to be the AFC person out of it, and so I think it is going to end up being San Francisco by a field goal. I think it'll probably be it'll be close. It'll be close, and it'll probably end up with. I just think that San Francisco will control the defensive end a little bit more than Kansas City. I love Kansas City's defense. Like I said, Chris Jones is awesome. Honey Badger is probably the third best safety in the NFL. He's been great this year. But Kansas City's defense has been good for like the last 7 games, and the Niners have been great for the past 20 games.
So this game reminds me of two Super Bowls that are really near and dear to my heart. One of them because of the amount of things I broke while I watched it, and the other one was the amount of joy I had when I watched it.
Assuming both of these involve Denver.
Both of these involve Denver. The past 2 times I remember when the unbeatable offense met up with the unbeatable, shaking defense. The past 2 times, and I've been going the same kind of thing that Kyle did. My heart, I don't want Kansas City to win. As a Broncos fan, I'm not rooting for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I have personal reasons that, you know what? I like John Lynch. I like Shanahan.
Yeah.
I can go for, I've got no issue going for the 49ers. But earlier today, I actually made my pick earlier today with a friend of mine saying that my pick was going to be Kansas City. But then I kept convinced myself afterwards, the last 2 times this happened, Denver went in to see Seattle, and no, we were the I believe still to this day, that team is the most prolific offense in NFL history. And got boat raced because they ran into a buzzsaw defense. If they're not the most, they're right up there. And then fast forward a few years, we had the hot and most awesome offense that year, and the unstoppable Cam Newton was running up against the we give up nothing Denver defense. And I'll even be honest with you, going into that game, I was really nervous as a Broncos fan. Because I said, no. So the last two times I remember seeing the young dynamic offense going up against the super defense. The super defense is one. And I'll even go to Super Bowl.
I hate this comparison you're about to make because if you turn Patrick Mahomes into Cam Newton by that comparison, I will never forgive you because DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller were so mean to Cam Newton. It was not nice, and he has never been the same since. So
Orange Kryptonite defense.
The Panthers' line that year, though, had always been suspect.
Yeah, they had been suspect.
So for me, this game also reminds me of that same feel that you're talking about, but it's one from my childhood that I never forgot. It was when the number one offense of Steve Young and the 49ers played against the number one defense of the San Diego Chargers. And the San Diego Chargers with Stan Humphries and Natron Means got boat raced. Yeah. And you looked at those comparisons. Seattle still had Russell Westbrook. Or, sorry, not Westbrook. We were talking about Wilson. That's a legit quarterback. That's a guy who had been through the fires, who had been in a Super Bowl before. Jimmy G has not. Jimmy G got traded.
He hadn't been in one before. That was his first Super Bowl.
No, because wasn't he the quarterback when they played against the Steelers and they lost?
Remember that was like Hasselbeck. That was a billion years ago.
Hasselbeck.
Remember that was a completely different. The majority of Seahawks fans don't even remember that Super Bowl because they weren't actually fans yet.
Well, I'm from the Northwest. You cannot even mention the Steelers without half of those Seahawks fans still complaining to this day about the uncalled PI against Jeremy Stevens.
Yes.
But, yeah, for me, this one reminds me more of that. Because those other teams that you mentioned with the unstoppable offenses, they had a lot more questions coming in than what Kansas City has. Kansas City is a pretty question-free offense coming in. And we will definitely see what they do. For me, I'm just glad. This is a new Super Bowl. This is freshness. This is people that you haven't seen before. This is the league turning the corner. And ratings have been up in the NFL. And part of the reason is there's new things.
Yeah.
Seeing Eli
Patriots
and Brady and Roethlisberger and Peyton for the last 20 years, you've seen it. You get fatigue. There's a reason Star Wars Episode 9 didn't pull so great. You just get tired of something over and over and over again. And so to see something new, this will be one of the highest ranks or highest rated Super Bowls in a very long time. I have no problem stating that.
So we're going to move on a little, still sticking with Super Bowl. So we want to make sure that there's a public announcement. Betting is wrong. Do not bet. Betting on gambling on things is not okay. Mm-hmm. Don't do it. All right? That being said, one of my favorite things about Super Bowl are prop bets. Yes. It's not even betting on the game, but we might hit on one of the things.
The Seahawks when they were playing in that Super Bowl, I just fact checked it. Russell Wilson was in 10th grade.
Yeah,
it was 2005.
I was saying, like, he was
in
like his second year when he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 13. They went to back-to-back ones in 13 and 14.
Yeah. But anyway, prop bets. So the national anthem. So our national anthem singer, I'm going to transition us really quick here. Our national anthem singer is Demi Lovato. You know what? I really hope she does well. Praying for Demi, that she can overcome some of the stuff that she's dealt with. But Demi Lovato's there. And I have found on CBSSports.com. I'm going to throw. That's where I'm pulling stuff from. They include expert analysis, so I might share some of their expert analysis. But the first prop bet we're going to go over: how long will it take for Demi Lovato to sing the national anthem? The over/under is set at 2 minutes. And on top of that, the favored pick is the over.
I'd take the under.
Yeah, that feels.
She's not your classic like Aretha.
She's not.
She's not Miss
Aguilera. She's not. Yeah.
No. She's
a belter more than a vocal agile type.
Yeah. So
throw in a whole bunch of extra runs.
The expert analysis. I don't know who the expert in these things are, but Lovato blazed past 2 minutes when she sang the anthem at Mayweather McGregor in 2017.
Yeah.
But her previous renditions, which came outdoors, she always finished shy of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
However, we listened to the thing, only 5 of the last 10 have gone longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah. The under seems safe here. Not that we're encouraging gambling, but it's not her vocal stylings. I don't know.
We don't have to worry about money on this. We're just saying what we think might happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the most fun thing on all of these ones. Yeah. So the next one is continuing on that same kind of thing. How the long of the word and the home of the brave is going to last. So the over under that is 5.5 seconds. That note does get held. I think Aretha is still holding that note from that Cowboys game. Lovato does sing 3 different notes. She does this like slur, or something like that. But cuts relatively abrupt once she reaches that third. So that's an interesting one.
I would go with the over on that because that feels like something she'll try to hold out. Actually, okay. So as a person who sings for a living, it really depends on the day. It really depends on the day. If I'm having a cold, I don't hold notes out as long as I usually do. So it just depends. And these are what is. Again, I'm not really well versed in gambling talk, but this is a stay away. Is that what it is? Just this is a stay away for me. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah.
I would take once again, I'm going to take the under. I think ever since that Fergie had that disastrous our national anthem rendition, people have been keeping them pretty conservative. There hasn't been a whole lot that has tried something new and dynamic because the jazzy rendition that Fergie gave was so mocked. It was thrashed by everybody.
It was the second worst I've ever seen in a nationally televised thing. The worst was one year at the NCAA National Championship basketball game where it was the Fray doing it, and one guitarist had their capo on the first fret, and the other one didn't, and they were playing in 2 different keys, and then had to stop. And yeah, it was bad.
So one thing that does strike me as interesting on this that I just kind of really thought of this, and I think the brave it has more to do on the brave than it does on anything else. That it's an outdoor stadium.
Yeah.
So if she knows the flyover is coming, do you hang on to it longer to time and match your flyover with the end of the anthem?
You want to say yes?
That's something to consider. I just kind of thought of that.
I want to say yes, but again, it's harder to sing outdoors. So, this is a stay away for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to list these next ones. We won't go into it unless you just want to give me an immediate yes or no on these next ones because we got to wrap up and go on to our last topic that we really need to get into. So, will any scoring drive take less time than the national anthem rendition?
Yes.
Yeah, Tyreek Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins all play on this team. Yeah, it's going to.
Insight: the Chiefs will actually allow fewer scoring drives in less than 2 minutes of 11, and the 49ers have allowed 12 less than 2 minute sub 2 minute scoring drives.
Yeah,
so neither one gives up that many 2 minute scoring drives, according to the insights on the page. So the next one, we're going to go again, some interesting ones. We're going to go with halftime. Where's my halftime?
No, but all it takes is
which song will Jennifer Lopez sing first? Get Right, or absolutely anything else?
No.
Apparently, there's a leaked set list of Get Right. Do you know Get Right? I actually don't know the song Get Right.
I've heard it like once or twice. I'm not a big J-Lo fan. Sorry.
Which song will Shakira sing first? She-Wolf or anything else?
Oh, I would actually put money on her going old school. Hips Don't Lie.
I would probably go Hips Don't Lie because, well, that's the only J-Lo song, or not Shakira song that I've ever heard of.
Oh.
Yeah, these are some interesting. I know why they brought them in. They're very dynamic artists in comparison to the boringly boring Maroon 5, who I have seen live once, and it was an awful live show. It was like watching someone play a CD in person. So you bring in people who are infamous for putting on great live shows. They also
argument I've heard
and they're attractive. So I get the why of all of these people, but just via genres, your average football fan is not driving to work listening to either of these artists.
No.
That's not in their iPod on any shuffle playlist.
I don't understand why it is not like why do you not get some
Eagles? Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, that would be awesome, except like half of them are dead now.
No, Eagles are still alive and they're still touring. Give me the Eagles. Yes, I understand you can't give me Journey, but that being said, if you can get Steve Perry out for one even short set, Journey. I would take that. But no.
Okay, best halftime performance of all time was Prince.
Prince was good.
That's just that's the best halftime performance of any sport ever. I remember watching that one live, and I was like, I am going to play the guitar now.
Musically, she's not my favorite. But watching her, Katy Perry was ridiculous when she did her halftime.
That was very, very well done. The only way the Lions will make the Super Bowl.
It was it was incredible to watch. Once again, musically, meh.
But very
you're never going to find a great musical performance because the acoustics of a stadium are set up for football, not for concerts.
Yeah.
Which the fact that they keep trying to make it such this huge concert, the statement I've always, and this has been more for I'll say this, and we do really need to move on. Was for at least the national anthem, I would like to see the winner, and partial this I am biased because I grew up going to these games. Give me the winner of the Service Academy Drum and Bugle Corps competition.
Okay.
That's the team that play. And then give me another marching band competition winner for my halftime show from universities. Give me that.
They'll never go. That's not as big a draw as doing. The thing is, the Super Bowl is all about selling commercials. It is all about selling commercials. And they know football fans are going to watch it anyway. So they're trying to get non-football fans to watch the halftime show.
Yeah.
The other one part too, and I know we're moving on. This is also a global game. This is going to be watched by over 1 billion people. The drum lines, that is a very American sports genre. Getting popular artists, especially when you're trying to grow the brand, it makes sense. That's why you see them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So moving on to one we needed to cover. I'm sad we have to cover it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy we get to.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I have these stories and stuff. I think I will remember I was in line for pizza. And I think I will always remember that it's going to be one of those, the Challenger disaster, all these things. And I'm not trying to compare the tragedies of the two of them, but
Yeah.
no, I will remember I was in line for pizza when I found out Kobe died.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. I will remember I fell asleep, took a nap because it's Sunday afternoon, and I'm a pastor, so that's what I do on Sunday afternoons. And I woke up from my nap, and my phone has blown up. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I have relocated to the eastern side of the planet, and that was the first thing my wife woke me up to was this tragedy, and it's Kobe Bryant and the tragic passing of that helicopter. And there are so many Kobe stories that people have been sharing. My Blazers are playing the Lakers as we speak right now. Kobe Portland and Kobe will always be linked because that first run that they went on to win the title had the infamous Kobe Shaq alley-oop.
Yep.
It is one of the most watched highlights of all time because it's incredible. It is a moment that will live on in NBA history. And Kobe was a part of that. And so for me as a Blazer fan, just to watch him come in, he's the reason we chanted "Beat LA." No one cared about LA after Magic retired. When Kobe came back in, he brought the "Beat LA," and the respect that he had for the game was incredible. I mean, they'd lost something like 10, 12 in a row, and in Portland, they couldn't win there. And Kobe's just like, these fans get amped up to beat us. We've got to bring our best. That was the Kobe thing that stuck out with me. There's some.
Ben, what's your favorite story?
So, I mean, the other one I'll get there. I mean, one that it kind of goes through. Then I'll tell like a little thing that I've just gotten from listening to players, but then also my own personal moment when I had it before. I mean, it kind of really definitely translates with with Portland, but watching Carmelo Anthony, seeing him grow and knowing that it was Kobe that did it. That Olympics, he came in, he went. I can't remember which Olympic Games it was. Was it the one where we actually lost? Went through.
I know.
He went into an Olympics. He went into an Olympic Games as a boy.
No, because he broke his finger, the one they lost.
Okay. He went into one game as a boy, and he left the next one as a superstar. He came in as a very, very, very good player and left as a superstar. And the biggest one that I always remember, when as a defender of Melo forever, when people always said, "Well, he never wants to play defense." If someone is worth him playing, or he's awful at defense, he can't play defense. If there's someone that can inspire him to play defense, he was not a bad defender.
Yeah.
When he wanted to, he's a good defender. And I remember
he's positional. He just didn't get a lot of steals. Like Melo was always an average defender, at least.
Yeah. But people would always just, rip him for not, he just doesn't play defense. I remember I don't remember the year, but the Nuggets Lakers Western Conference Finals. That battle back and forth was something like Melo was there like, no, I'm battling Kobe. I mean, the whole question like, no, I'm taking Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm taking Kobe. And you know what? He didn't do it wasn't like he did an awful job. No, Kobe was still Kobe. For me personally, I remember, I think it was towards the very end, right around New Year's of 2014, Lakers came. I saw Kobe get a triple-double in that game. And that was something there. And it was one of the things, we spent the entire time booing Kobe. And then a friend of mine kind of mentioned, do you ever, after this, do you feel bad about booing Kobe? No, I mean, you couldn't know what happened, but like, do you regret now not booing Kobe? And I kind of, at first, I was going to say, yeah, I kind of do, but then I paused and thought, said he wouldn't have had it any other way. He wanted,
Yeah.
he wanted the boos.
Yeah.
You would like, the respect and cheer at the end of the game, but in the middle of the game, if you weren't booing Kobe, he would have been offended if you weren't booing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Kobe brought the best out of T-Mac.
Yep.
They were apparently good friends even all the way back into high school. And then of course both of them came out of high school and straight into the pros and within a couple of years of each other. And were just fantastic players. Both of them were. Now, obviously, Kobe was the better player, but I would argue a lot of that is Kobe stayed healthy until his 30s, and T-Mac went out in his late 20s. But they brought the best out of each other, and it was always a good game when Kobe played the Rockets, and so I always loved that. My favorite story about Kobe will be the way he went out. Is coming back from that devastating Achilles injury. Comes back still, and it looked like there were nights where it looked like he was walking on one leg, trying to fight and will that team to just be slightly competitive every night. And because it was like Brandon Ingram shot like 6% from the field. It was bad. And then that last game against Utah, where Utah was fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he drops 60 on them.
Yep.
Gets the microphone. Wins the game for him. And he gets that microphone, gives his speech, just says Mamba out, lays the microphone off, and walks off. And I'm like, that is the way every great athlete should be allowed to leave the game, but they don't always get to. Yeah. And that was what made me happy.
And, this is obviously a tragic thing.
Yeah.
But when you look at I don't even want to call them positives, because the loss of life is not great.
Yeah.
It is a tragedy. But one thing that I've noticed too, but one big one for me is really watching guys be able to share emotions. It is moving and fixing a problem that I have mentioned a long time. It's like guys don't know how to be guys. There has been a big problem with what masculinity looks like. And it has been stuck in some weird, either hypersensitive or John Wayne never say anything. And to watch so many guys give honest, heartfelt emotions about the passing of their friends is, for me, it's incredible. It's watching men literally progress in society right in front of our eyes. Carmelo Anthony took a personal game. He didn't even fly down to Los Angeles because he's still grieving the loss of his friend. And you know what? Everybody said, good for you, Carmelo. This isn't the suck it up buttercup. Just get back out there and be a man. Like, this is acknowledging the holistic approach of human beings. And we are all of people of faith, and it is good to see all of this. As pastors, people believe in Jesus. Jesus cared about all of it. Jesus mentioned all parts of the human beings. Jesus did not utter the word, suck it up, buttercup. He said, come to me all who are tired and weary, and I will give you rest.
Yeah.
He cared. Our faith, for all of us who are in the podcast, care about that. And to see this old sense of masculinity that isn't helpful pass away in front of our eyes. And the second thing for me is, I've got girls. I've got 2 children, 2 kiddos, and both of them are daughters. And I've loved it. I have watched my nephews. I have, girls, and pretty much the rest of my siblings and my wife's siblings have boys. And I watch how the boys interact, and then I watch how my girls interact. And I love girls. When Kobe said girls are the best and being a girl dad is amazing, he's not wrong. And to see this other old mentality of men have to have boys or you're really not that. No, I'm glad to see that disappear. Like having girls is an incredible thing. And it does not make you less of a man for stating that you love having daughters. And to see Kobe be able to get on Jimmy Kimmel and be like, I've got girls that are great. To see the Sports Center anchor whose story of Kobe was I love being a girl dad is incredible. To see what Kobe did to push along the WNBA to bring that into a higher level of prominence and mental awareness, Kobe did a lot. He did a lot for the NBA, he did a lot for sports. But as a dad of girls, that is one thing when he passed away that I told my daughter about was how much he loved women's sports and women being equal. And
Yeah.
there is a legitimate loss with Kobe.
And
Um,
especially his daughter as well. I think it's a great thing. I was just watching a tribute earlier because they did it before the Rockets game, and then all of the NBA TV highlight packages. If you want to watch them on YouTube right now, they start off with the tribute instead of going straight into which I think is great.
yeah,
But uh, the NBA All Star game. I can't remember which team is which, but one team is going to wear 24 in honor of Kobe, and the other one is going to wear 2 in honor of his daughter. I believe it's Gianna, is how it's pronounced. But
Gigi is the
yeah,
nickname that one goes with.
We'll go with Gigi because that's easier. But they'll all wear number 2 in honor of her, and I think that is a great moment too.
It kind of combines what both you were saying, but I remember I was reading after he passed. Someone made a joke to him at one point of, you need to have a son so he can come and come, continue your legacy in the NBA. And from the way I read it, he wasn't offended. He didn't say it, but he sat there and goes, "No, she's got my legacy."
Yeah.
Which was just kind of the thing, and it does kind of it's one of those situations that does kind of remind us. I mean, we were all excited and interested to see what the next step for Kobe was. The guy was 41. 41, and yes, the whole flying a helicopter. The man flew a helicopter. That's how he commuted. He lived far enough away. I mean, I know this was a story for a bit, but I talked to a lot of people, and they seem to have forgotten. Every single day for the majority of his playing career, do you know how he got to the arena?
The helicopter.
Flew a helicopter. He wasn't playing the LA traffic game.
And if anyone's ever drove in LA, they understand that should be a legitimate thing for someone of means.
Yeah, like that was a thing. And this whole thing of them, what was going on? No, this was literally the equivalent of Kobe had an Escalade, and the other kids that were riding on it, hey, can we get a ride with you and your dad to the camp?
Yeah.
That was a percent. And I mean, but that's what it was. This was for us, it kind of, we can look at it. That's not a normal day. You're taking a helicopter to this was a normal day.
That was a normal day for Kobe.
And the keep in mind thing is tomorrow.
It was the equivalent of the soccer dad taking everyone in their minivan.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah. This
is the thing. We never dreamed this. I mean, that's what kind of caught everyone so off guard. Is this wasn't a possibility.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a little bit of a possibility of things happening. That tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And if something is not right and something's going on in your life, and you're listening to us, do what you can to make it right. If that's, we don't talk about it much, but if that's getting right with God, get right with God.
Yeah.
If you don't know that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, I mean, we talked about the other stuff with Kobe, but one of the things that popped up that he was in mass that morning.
Mm-hmm.
He was attending church that morning. If that's something you need to get there, that's something you need there. I mean, leave us a comment, put something there if you want us to talk. We'd be more than happy to talk with you. But find something there and don't leave anything because, well, if you're a sports fan, Kobe wouldn't want it. Kobe didn't leave anything on the floor. his last game, he took every shot he possibly could take.
Yeah.
He left nothing.
Yeah.
You mentioned take care of a man. It's like when you look and you see the people who are commenting about the positive things that Kobe was investing in the lives of everybody. I mean, Sharif O'Neal was commenting on how Kobe was texting him just the day before to tell him to keep it up and to keep overcoming this heart issue that he's dealing
Yeah.
with, set him back in college. Like Kobe Bryant was constantly encouraging everybody. I have never seen one of the generational goats
Hmm.
retire from the league and pour as much into the league afterwards. When people step away, they step away to make money, they step away to increase their brand. Kobe, when he left, still kept his legacy in basketball. He still kept pouring into the young guys in development. And in our world we call it mentorship and discipleship. Like Kobe wanted to make the game that he loved better, and he cared about people. You
Yeah.
just see that Kobe cared about people. And like Ben said, we have no idea. We have no idea. We don't live in fear. Don't live your life on the what ifs and the what could happens, but just appreciate the moment, because this is it. We've got this one life, we've got this one shot, and make every moment matter. Cut down on your phone time, cut down on your screen time. Let your families know, let your friends know what you mean, and spend time with them. Not the fake time where you're checking the gram and you're checking the sports scores, but be there and be involved in people's lives. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's a great way to end it tonight on a note of, even though it's somber, but it's positive, because there's great things that can happen, and sometimes we just need to focus on that.
Yeah.
If you guys would like us, subscribe, give us a couple shares on social media, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Have a good